Hi, I'm Andy. In preparation for the album, my brother and I need to change our strings. He needed a little help, so I made this video for him. He said there were other videos on how to change nylon strings on the internet, but nothing that was very helpful, so hopefully this will be very clear and straightforward. First, what I'm going to do is take my peg winder and unwind all my old strings. So now my nut comes out, so make sure you don't lose that if your nut is not glued in. Okay, so we have all these knots here. If you just unravel, you should be able to pull through from the top. Now make sure your bridge doesn't fall out. Sometimes bridges are loose. Okay, letting the guitar rest in my lap, I take the string, unwind it. Now there's two ends of the string. There's very clearly on this brand, the label is at the finished end, and the less finished end is the open one. But again, the biggest thing you probably can't see on the video, but there's just not as much tight winding, and you can actually maybe tell it's a little springier than this end here. Insert it over the bridge, into the 6th hole, and you're going this way from the hole of the guitar towards the end of the body here. Pull it through. I'll try and do this in a way that you can see the best. And then you'll end up creating a knot. This goes back around. This will go, it's sitting on top, then it goes under, and the knot isn't created until you push it back over the end of the bridge. Hold that tight and then pull it tight like that. I had to put my finger there to make sure that knot would stay, and I pull tension on the string over the bridge. All you have to do is find the holes. I've set mine, you can kind of see in the video here, I've tried to have them all forward so that I have easy access. Just push them into the hole here. Just need a little slack. And then start winding. Now make sure that you're winding, let's see, this would be counterclockwise, at least from my perspective it's counterclockwise. All the strings should be wound counterclockwise no matter what side of the neck they're on. Now you see here I'm missing my bridge, so as this gets tighter, let me use my peg winder. I keep tension on the string as I wind it so that it keeps a very tight spool around the peg. That'll help with keeping it in tune. It'll go out of tune pretty quickly if you don't get a tight wind. So keep that tension. It should sort of naturally make a spool. Okay, now it's getting pretty tight here. So I'm going to put my nut back in here. This should be right. Put that in place. Keep tightening this a little bit. Now don't worry about tuning it. Just get it to some degree of tension here. Okay, so we're going to go back and do the same thing with the other strings. Okay, something I should mention before I start the plain nylon strings, just tightening these as much as I can. Make sure it is of the utmost importance that your knot is over the edge. It doesn't have to be very far. You can see, I'm trying to get a close-up here. The knots are just over that edge. If they aren't, the string may not hold and it will rapidly unravel and possibly cause damage. In fact, you can see here for my first string when I didn't tie it very well, it unwound and cracked the guitar a little bit. So my third string is my first plain nylon string. for the sake of consistency, I'm going to use the labeled side at the bridge, although I don't believe with this string that it matters. It's pretty much uniform throughout. Okay, so same procedure. Pull it through. Maybe a little hard to see here in the video. You go behind the string again. Bring it above. Now this time we're going to actually do a loop on the top like that, and then I'm going to loop this little piece of string again over, so that now I have a loop both over the ridge. Let's see if I get this lined up right. I should have a loop that will rest just below the edge and a loop on top. Now, unlike these, now you could do that with these, it won't really make a difference though. So, now this is just one style. There's other ways of doing it. If you want extra security, you can actually tie a knot at the very end of these strings. Just a simple knot, and it acts as sort of a like a nut at the end, like steel strings have that little nut that holds the strings in place. I find this works just fine though. So again, I looped it twice. One loop is going to be twisted on top here, and make sure the other one is below here, and it creates enough friction to hold the string. Okay, so now let's wind it up top. Now, I've seen this handled differently in several ways. That is, the nylon strings, the plain nylon strings, are more slippery, and they will unwind without proper friction. So what I do is I actually thread it through the hole over the top. I'm just doing it over the top, although it doesn't really matter that much. And I will pull it, okay, then I'll pull it back through here, and I'll actually tie a simple knot right here on the peg. Okay, let me tighten this down, and that will hold the string in place. It creates just enough friction that as I wind this, so again, I'm going the same direction counterclockwise. Okay, make sure the knot stays. I gotta keep pressure on it. Gotta keep tension on it. That knot will follow through and will create friction and will hold the string in place. If you want extra security, actually make sure that it winds on top of that knot. I just moved it over slightly. It's hard to see in this video, but I wound it over the knot. I'm letting it wind over the knot for extra security. At this point, before it gets too tight, make sure, let's see if I can do this in one shot. Make sure we haven't lost this knot. It could slip. So now, okay, I see it's fine. So now I'm going to continue to wind. If that came loose, the string would come unwound in a very unpleasant way. As the strings relax and react to the tension, you can actually just grab the string. If I do it by this angle, just grab the string down by, about the middle of the string, and just give it a pull. Here, I'll show you a little closer up here. Just pull to release some of the tension, so you'll actually loosen up this part of the string, and then that'll help you tune it. Well, pretty close. Well, it'll probably take you several tries of tightening the string and pulling on each string. The string really never stops stretching out. You should get to a point, though, within about 15 minutes, maybe 10, where it pretty much holds its tuning. The unwound strings will take a lot more time generally. They take more time to get used to the stretching. And that's about it.